All right, welcome to part 2. Now let's look at this question. Again, it's from the same document. The nurses union collects data on the hours worked by operating room nurses at Quito General Hospital. The data is collected and presented in the table. So we have hours per week and number of employees. So for those that work 12 hours in a week, we only had 1 employee. For those that worked 32 hours in a week, we had 5 employees. For those that worked 35 hours in a week, we had 7 employees. Those that worked 38 hours, we had 8 employees. And those that worked 42 hours, we had 5 employees. So now, I'll give you a second to guess what type of data is this. Is this data grouped or ungrouped? Okay, so yes, so this data is grouped because it has a frequency, the number of times something is happening. So that is a frequency. So the number of employees is acting as a frequency. So 12 is happening 1 time. 32 is happening 5 times. 35 is happening 7 times. 38 is happening 8 times. 42 is happening 5 times. So the fact that this data is grouped, we know our formulas. So for grouped data, we're asked to determine the mean and the standard deviation. So for grouped data, we know that the mean, which is the sample mean, is equals to sigma f of x divided by sigma f. Okay, the summation of each frequency times the variable divided by the summation of the frequency. So the frequency are these variables and x is this column variable here. So to find f times x, we will just be multiplying corresponding terms. 1 times 12, 5 times 32, and so on and so forth. That will give us f of x, okay, f times x. And when we add all that we're going to have sigma f of x. Then sum of f is the summation of these variables in this column right here. And for the standard deviation, we know our formula for the standard deviation. For the sample standard deviation, this is the root of the summation of the frequency times the deviations squared over summation of the frequency minus 1, because we're dealing with a sample. So now I pre-filled a table. Let me just write it down. So I pre-filled the table. So x is being represented by hours per week. So these are x variables. Frequency, we say this is the number of employees, and for us to find the mean, we need to find f times. So we'll start to create f times x column. So the f times x column will be 1 times 12, which is 12, 5 times 32, which is 167, times 35, which is 245, and so on and so forth. So now this has helped us to come up with f of x. So now we also need summation of f. So summation of f, we're just going to add all these variables in this column. So summing f of x, this plus that, all the way, it gave us 931. So sigma f of x is equal to 931, and sigma f is equal to 26. And to find our mean, we need sigma f of x, which we divide by sigma f. Okay, so now this is equal to 931 divided by 26, which will give us So the mean is equals to sigma f of x over sigma f, which is 931 divided by 26, which is giving us 35.81 if we round off to 2 decimal places. So now this is how we have found the mean. Okay, so this is the mean. So now we need to find the standard deviation according to the question. And the standard deviation formula, we need, first of all, we need x minus x bar, the deviations. All right, so I went ahead and did this in this column right here. So we said x minus x bar. Remember, x is hours per week. So we said this number right here minus the mean, and the mean is this that we found down here, which is 35.81. So we said 12 minus 35.81, it gave us negative 23.08. Then we said 32 minus 35.81, it gave us negative 3.808. 35 minus 35.01 gave us this right here, and so on and so forth. Okay, I was using Excel here, so these are more accurate compared to the rounded off version, right? So these are the variables that we got for x minus x bar. Okay, so now from here, remember, we need x minus x bar squared. So we are just squaring x bar minus x bar. So we are getting these variables, we are squaring them, right? This is x minus x bar, okay, and the square of that is x minus x bar squared. So we're going to have 23.808 squared, which is going to give us 56.820864. Then we have negative 3.808 squared, which is giving us 14.5008. Then we have negative 0.802 squared, which is giving us this figure right here. Then we have 2.9, and this is the x minus x bar squared. From here, we need to find f times x minus x bar squared. So we are going to be multiplying f to x minus x bar squared. So we're just going to multiply f times this. So 1 times 566.820864, which gave us this, the same value. 5 times 14.500864, which gave us this value. 7 times 0.8652864, which gave us this value here. 8 times 4.804864, which gave us there. And when we complete 5 times 38.340864, we get this here. And when we sum this, what we are getting is sigma of this, right? Sigma of this, which is this variable here. So in part, we've already found the top part for finding the standard deviation in this table, which is sigma f times f of x squared, which is this part. So now let's just replace that in our formula. Remember, our formula for standard deviation is equal to the root of sigma f of x minus x bar squared over summation of f minus 1, of which this part has already been found in the table, which is right here. So we just replace that. So s will be equals to root of what's the figure there? Let me check the figure. That is 874 point, write that nicely, 874 point 874 point sorry 874.033 0.38038464. Divide by f of x. F of x is this number right here. So that is 26 minus 1. 26 minus 1, which is 25, right? According to our formula when we're dealing with the sample. So that is 25. So s will be equals to the root of, so we say this into that, then later we get the square root, right? So when we get, which is that number right here, 34.96153856, then the square root of this, is, what's the square root of this? Which is 5.9 5.912828305. Okay, which is approximately 5.91. So that is our standard deviation, right? If you were asked to find the variance, remember variance is a standard deviation squared. So variance is standard deviation squared. So you just get the standard deviation that you've been given and you square that. So which is 5.591. Then you square that. Then that will be your variance, which is 34.94 something. All right, so this is it for this part. We look at the third part where we'll be looking at other. Yes, so let's look at one more example, then I'll leave you the exercise. So if you want these notes, you can inbox me. I will make them into a PDF and I'll send them to you as well so that you are able to follow very well. All right, so let's go into part 3 where we'll look at another example.